So, Cooler Master really got my attention recently with the release of the MK750 gaming headset. Gaming keyboard. You can check out my review right here if you haven't seen it yet. After digging through their catalog, I stumbled upon the Master Mouse MM520 gaming headset. Gaming mouse, it's not a headset. I was immediately struck by the shape. So I reached out to Cooler Master and they were nice enough to send one out for review. So let's see how it stacks up against all the other gaming headsets. You're looking for cheap PC games? Check out Kinguin.net. Click the link in the description below to help support the channel and never pay full retail again. Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching Bad Seed Tech, and today we're taking a look at the Master Mouse MM520 from Cooler Master. There's already a ton of reviews about this mouse out there on YouTube. My reasons for making this video are almost purely selfish. The shape of this mouse, at first glance, immediately reminded me of my favorite mouse for comfort, the Mionix Naos 7000. Now, I love this mouse, I really do. The shape is spectacular. I just don't like it for gaming so much. So I'd been on the lookout for a mouse that was very similar in shape, but had a more tactile click under the triggers. What I got with the MM520 was way different than the Mionix Naos 7000, which you can see by the comparison shots. I prepared myself to be disappointed after a short test drive, but instead I found a whole lot to like and a play style I'd never tried before that honestly worked pretty well for me. This guy measures 119 millimeters long, 78.5 millimeters wide, and 29.5 millimeters tall. The cable's 1.8 meters, it's rubberized, it fits great in a mouse bungee, and the gold-plated USB plug also has a Cooler Master purple insert. Out of the box, this mouse weighs 104 grams on my scale. There is a 12-gram weight hiding in the roof of this mouse. Cooler Master was nice enough to send along some replacement pads in case you want to take this apart, remove that weight, and make the mouse even lighter. The screws are hiding behind the pads. It just takes a Phillips head screwdriver in a few minutes. It's really no biggie. I didn't opt to do this because I'm cool with the weight where it is. You might like a lighter mouse, or you might need some assistance with liftoff, which we'll touch on here again in a bit. Getting into the body, you'll find that this is constructed mostly from PBT plastic with a matte UV coating on it. You'll see this material commonly used in like custom keycaps, and I love this decision. It doesn't fingerprint, show oil, it doesn't wear, it doesn't peel like some of the other finishes do. It's got a little bit of texture to it too, kind of like a more refined Rhino liner. The switches here are Omron. The front trigger buttons have these nice comfort grooves and they slope sharply down at the front of the mouse. The scroll wheel is like an opaque silicone. It feels similar to the one found on the Zoe EC series, but with a much better feeling tactile scroll. On the right side, built into the body, you've got a dedicated rest for your ring finger and a nice little rubberized pad there where the tip of your pinky makes contact with the frame. The thumb side has a distinct lip on the bottom of the frame as well as an upper lip created by the two thumb buttons there at the top. These are glossy plastic and they require a conscious effort to activate. I really would have liked to see a rubber pad on the thumb side as well, because on the rare occasion where I do lift off, I do get just a little bit of thumb slip and it catches on the thumb buttons there. The only way around this is that I have to consciously make an effort to squeeze laterally with my thumb on one side and my ring finger and my pinky finger doing the work on the other side. This is a place where cutting down that weight might make this a more comfortable experience for you. Now, the highest point of this mouse falls directly under my knuckle line, so what that does is it causes a very intentional claw grip and it leaves the heel of my hand laying directly on the mouse mat. Now, having larger hands, I never thought I would enjoy a smaller mouse, but you combine this thing with a hard surface mouse mat and a higher than normal DPI setting for me, and this thing plays fast and accurate. Because the rear of the mouse body doesn't support the rear of my hand in any way, then I can control drag across the mouse surface using the heel of my palm. So I can lift my palm to cover large distances working from the elbow. Once I get into position, I can plant my palm and using a high DPI setting, do all the work with the wrist from there to dial it in. It's not my usual play style for sure, but I had a lot of fun with it. I felt absolutely lethal, so I'm probably gonna spend a lot more time investigating that style. Aesthetically, I really like the design, and the RGB implementation here is solid. They give you 3 different zones to work with, and the Cooler Master logo, the typeface itself is like gloss black on matte black, and it's surrounded by that RGB line that looks super hot. The line around the logo is really thin, and so is a little accent line that runs across the back of the mouse. You combine that visual offset with the fully lit scroll wheel, and it is just killing it. Overall, I really like the look of the mouse. You can add some flair with the lighting, or you can run this thing completely stealthed out, and that breathing white effect on the black is, oh man, just really handsome stuff here. The sensor here is the Pixar 3360. It's optical. This is a wildly popular sensor. You probably used it several times in mice from SteelSeries or Cougar. It's also in the Corsair M65 Pro, which I do run every once in a while. It performs exactly as you expect it would. I didn't see any signs of acceleration or angle snapping here that I could detect. Also on the underside of this mouse are 3 pads. The only reason why I point this out is because I really feel like they should have had a pad on the thumb side as well to help balance this thing out. I don't know if anybody else will be affected by this, but I noticed when I reviewed the Rival 600, my ergonomics personally, my right hand has a tendency to roll inward, and because there's no pad here to hold that thing out perfectly balanced, I do get some frame drag. It sounds gross, especially without headphones, like when it scrapes across the surface. But in practice, I don't think it affects performance at all, and it didn't seem to hurt the mouse surface in any way. One of my favorite things about Cooler Master is you really don't need the software if you don't want it. All you do is go in there, you set it up for the first time, get all your customizations done, and save all the profiles. Because there's an ARM processor and onboard memory in the mouse, all your profiles, all your lighting profiles, everything is saved, and it travels with the mouse. You can throw it in your laptop bag, wherever you land, whatever computer you plug it into, all your stuff is waiting for you right there. And you can even delete the software from your system if you want to after you're done customizing things, if you're a stickler about keeping a tight OS. Now, the software is also why I haven't mentioned the little button behind the scroll wheel until this point. Normally on most mice, this would be your DPI toggle button. But in this case, it controls a function called Tactics, with an X, because it's extreme. Now what this does is temporarily changes all the button assignments on your mouse to alternate button assignments. So you can do stuff like change your profiles, change the different lighting modes, and adjust your DPI, and then switch right back to your regular mouse functions, all without having to go into the software. You can also just reassign this button completely. So instead of activating Tactics, let's say it just like toggles between 4 different DPI settings, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Inside the software, you'll find all the basics, the lighting customization, macro assignment, as well as a panel for OS adjustments. This is the menu that's normally buried in Windows settings, but it's also presented right here and controls the same function. So you know that obviously this controls different aspects of your mouse, so it's kind of nice instead of having to dig through Windows settings to get to it, to just have it right here presented alongside everything else. Now with a street price of about $43 right now, I feel like you're getting a lot of performance for your money here, particularly because this mouse can stand firm against some of the mice I own in the $70 to $90 category. Nothing about this mouse feels like a budget mouse. At the $40 to $50 range, you will still find some stiff competition from other major manufacturers at this price point, particularly if you're shopping former flagship models that are a few years old now. But if you're looking for an agile mouse that's stuffed with premium components, tastefully designed, easy on the software, and seems like it's built to take years of punishment, I have no problem at all recommending this mouse. As always, you'll find affiliate links in the description below if you want to grab one for yourself, and big thanks to Cooler Master for sending this out for review. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching.